Right, let's catch up with our favourite politician, Alan Bastard. Episode 2. Let's go. Freedom. How will we be passporting free?
All right, we'll do it with the light on.
I can go through with this.
Well, do you mind if I start with Andrew?
I mean, I just don't do one-night stands.
Well, I wish you'd told me before. This is the Heathrow Grange Hotel, you know. These rooms don't come cheap. I didn't want to sleep here.
Hold on. Well, it is not that great. There was a second version of this. This is 4.3 thousand. 9,300. Better. Oh wait, this is a different episode. Oh dear. Oh well.
That's a horrible thing to say.
Is it? Oh, well, I'm only joking. I'm renowned in Westminster for my sense of humour. And for my enormous majority. And for my incredible virility. And Vicky, this isn't a one-nighter.
We need good quality. It matters, alright?
I mean, I just don't do one-night stands.
And that's even worse. Right, just get on with it.
This is a first-nighter. I love you. In Westminster for my sense of humour. And for my enormous majority. And for my incredible virility. And
Really?
Vicky, this isn't a one-nighter. This is a first-nighter. I love you.
His wife
loved
was
you
knocking off with another
Ever
one,
since the
wasn't she?
Sloaney Girl Temp Bureau sent you into my life. Yesterday.
Do you really mean that?
Of course I do.
Of course I do. Never trust a word of a politician. They never mean anything they say.
How was it for
Unless
you?
it's like...
How was what?
Has he not even gone in yet?
Well, it was, different.
Same problem as Richard.
Really? In what way different? Sexier? Chunkier? Bigger?
Quicker.
Yes, because it was quick. I mean, I'm a busy man. I don't have time to waste. Besides, what
right.
is this obsession with quantity over quality? I mean, orgasm is the objective, isn't it? Magazines my wife reads are full of articles about how to have orgasms. But why they're printing them in Farmers Weekly is beyond me. Well, I've never had any problem on the climax front. Whoops, I've just done another one. Wonder what's on the telly.
Hold on. As I'm sure you've noticed, I've started taking notes now during reactions, so for this, I'm just going to write down a couple of things. That's it. Yeah, when you've just had sex with someone, and you say, how's that for
Them in
you?
Farmers
And
Weekly
they
is
say,
beyond me.
Well, it was different, and then you're like, oh yeah, better, chunkier, harder, whatever, and they say, quicker, yeah, it's not going well, is it? Yeah, yeah.
Obsession with quantity over quality. I mean, orgasm is the objective, isn't it? Magazines my wife reads are full of articles about how to have orgasms.
Oh, he's still with his
But
wife.
why they're printing them in Farmers Weekly is beyond me. Well, I've never had any problem on the climax front. Whoops, I've just done another one. Wonder what's on the
Steady on
telly.
with your medieval folk dance.
Alan, did you really mean it when you said you loved me?
Of course. Well, when I said I loved you, I really meant it.
Only I've never been to bed with a married man before. Well, not unless you count Daddy.
Shh. This is my favourite dad.
Alan, I'm so glad you do love me, because I
Hope
forgot
she
to
means
tell you
that
I'm
in
not
the
on the
way
pill.
I hope she means it.
Glad you do love me, because I forgot to tell you I'm not on the pill. Well, I was on the pill, but then I put on 2 stone, got spots, and no one fancied me. Oh, Alan, what would you do if I got pregnant?
Oh, well, I'd leave my wife and marry you, of course. Thanks for keeping the place, Piers. Overslept. You know what it's like when you're in the sack all night, boffing some insatiable little sex pot. And of course, you wouldn't know what that's like at all, would you?
No, I do.
Hey, bastard, there is a queue here, you know.
It's all right, Crippen. It's an airliner, not a corporation tram. There are plenty of seats for everyone. Though why you're going to a conference on farming is beyond me. You represent an inner-city slum, don't you?
Even my constituents are allowed to eat.
Are they? What a shame.
If this terminal wasn't patrolled by heavily armed members of your anti-terrorist squad, I'd give you a good smack for that.
Well, there you are, you see. There's the voice of the modern Labour Party. Thinly veiled political thuggery.
Do you like hospital food, pal?
I love it, but then, of course, I'm in Bupa.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
They are. Most of them. Well, they all will be, won't they?
And your passport, please, Herr Bestard.
Which Labour politician was it? It was either before or just after the election. Had a procedure, and it wasn't on the NHS. They used taxpayer money to pay for it in private. Was it Keir Starmer himself? I'm pretty sure that happened. Who was it? Oh, I can't remember, but one of them definitely had a procedure, either before or after the election, shortly after, and they went private. Whoa. Sounds like something Starmer would do. Yeah. No passport.
I'm sure I had it last night.
I'm afraid there's rather a long queue. Would you mind stepping aside?
Yes, as Hitler said to Chamberlain before he invaded Poland. Listen, my dear, I am Alan Bastard, MP. I've got the largest majority in the House of Commons, and I'm
the
attending
majority.
a conference on a subject very close to the German soul, namely pig meat. I don't need a passport. We won the war.
And much good it did you. Next, please.
Look, Fräulein, I can vouch for him.
Yes, and who will vouch for you?
Oh, well, Alan will vouch for me. Right, that's it. I demand to see the airport manager, or the airport Führer, or whatever you call him.
I'm afraid Mr. Goering is unavailable. He is busy pillaging the art galleries of Eastern Europe. Smoking or non-smoking?
Perhaps it's in your case. What? Your passport? No. Oh, God. I must have left it at home in Yorkshire. Damn.
Well, at least have a look.
No, it's not in here.
Well, it might be. I'm always losing things and finding them in unexpected places.
Yes, that's because you're a congenital idiot, Piers.
Why did he bother nicking all that? He could have just claimed them on expenses. Like the rest of the fucking Tories.
100,000 shares in Ocelot Motors. I can't believe it.
At today's share price, you're virtually a millionaire. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Yes, it could. But I'm glad it didn't. I hardly even knew Uncle Luke. I never imagined he was still alive.
He isn't.
No, of course not. Poor old Stiffy. Where are you going?
To work, darling. I mean, we don't all have dead Uncle Lukes, and I am still Alan's political agent.
You won't be when I've finished with him.
What on earth do you mean by that?
I can afford to leave him now. Nice, messy divorce with lots of unwelcome publicity for him.
Aren't you being a little vindictive, darling?
Yeah, he deserves it. He cheats on me.
We cheat on him.
That's different. We love each other.
And then, when they found out that Piers' AIDS test was positive, they sent us all home. Yes, that's the one. Of course, it's simple. Like Piers.
What's an arsehole?
Mwah! Now, I know what you're thinking. What's Alan doing back so early from the conference?
Haha. Haha.
Well, you're not going to believe this. Last month, we all had routine blood tests, and Piers, of all people, turns out to be a raving...
You left it in your bedside drawer.
Oh, I know about that, darling. Under the March 1987 amendment to the European Community Travel Agreement, members of Parliament on official business don't actually need to carry the
Do
pass...
shut up, Alan. I'm not Piers. I mean, why don't you just admit that you spent last night in some airport hotel with some little typist, for whom I feel nothing but the deepest pity?
I see.
I see.
Well, if you prefer to think the worst, Sarah, rather than listen to my perfectly logical explanation, quite frankly, I don't know how this marriage is going to survive.
It isn't. I've just inherited £1 million, and I'm going to divorce you.
It's never a good look when MPs get divorced, is it? So she is right. It is going to damage his reputation somewhat. Once an MP gets divorced, well, when an MP's wife leaves him, then we talk about them, don't we? We say, well, what's going on there? Why she left it? Yeah, it will send tongues wagging.
Yes.
Edwina Curry likes it hot and spicy.
Edwina Curry likes it hot and spicy.
You can only be in real clap,
Of course. That's the whole object of the exercise.
How do you mean?
Well, it's all a matter of perception. You see a clapped-out ambulance immobilised by vindictive traffic wardens. I see 100 square feet of prime office space in Park Lane, £50 a day and no rate. Now, about your divorce.
Are you wearing makeup?
I thought you were becoming a woman.
Just a hint of mascara.
That's very nice. It suits you. Sorry, go on, Norman.
Well, as soon as you told me about the divorce, I transferred all your assets to the one country where even the bank accounts of known criminals are safe.
Hold on, wait a minute. He just said something. So, that bus is however many square feet of real estate. It costs whatever amount to park it there per day, and he's doing his business in it. Is that? I mean, this is a long time ago. It's a very different place now, London. It's much more expensive to park there, drive there. But ideally, would it be cheaper to just get a big bus, put all your office equipment inside that, and park it somewhere in London, than it would be to hire a business unit in a building somewhere? Probably would, wouldn't it?
Just a hint of mascara.
That's very nice. It suits you. Sorry, go on, Norman.
Well, as soon as you told me about the divorce, I transferred all your assets to the one country where even the bank accounts of known criminals are safe from official scrutiny.
Vatican City.
Precisely. No, your wife won't be able to get her hands on a penny.
Well, that's very good, Norman, but the problem isn't my money. You see, Sarah has inherited a major stake in Ocelot Motors. That's why she can afford to divorce me.
I see. Well, if she's not after your money, it doesn't matter if she leaves you, does it?
And afford to divorce me. You see, Sarah has inherited a major stake in Ocelot Motors. That's why she can
Ocelot or Ocelot?
afford to divorce me.
I see. Well, if she's not
If it was Ocelot, that's what they call Jaguar in the GTA games.
after your money, it doesn't matter if she leaves you, does it? And if I were your wife...
Listen, I am only MP for Halton Price because Sarah's father controls the local Conservative Party. The second we're divorced, I'll be out on my arse, with about as much chance of finding another seat as a deaf kid in a game of musical chairs.
I see. It's serious now. And I suppose you want me to come up with some ingenious solution.
And I suppose you want me to continue paying for your sex change treatment.
Has she actually got the shares in her possession yet?
I don't think so. Her uncle died abroad, so there's all the legal formalities to go through.
Good. Gives you a little time.
To do what?
It's obvious. Destroy the company.
Look, drink a bottle of gin and have a very hot bath. And if that doesn't work, then call me tomorrow. No, of course I don't love you. Grow up, Victoria. Where have you been? I sent you to the library an hour ago. Have you been wasting your time voting?
Sorry, Alan. The photocopy machine broke down and I had to wait for the man.
Well, you should have copied it out by hand then, shouldn't you? Come on, give.
Look, Alan, I'm not your servant, you know.
If you were, I would have sacked you years ago.
Do you think I could have a drink?
I don't see why not. Just make sure you're back from the bar by 11. I might need you. Let's see, Ocelot. Company report, 1986-87.
It is Ocelot.
Profits up 34%. Dividends up 42%. Exports up 61%.
Wow, we're doing
Workforce
well.
up by 3,500.
Makes you proud to be British, doesn't it?
Shut up, Piers.
Shut up, Piers.
No strike agreement extended for a further 5 years. God, it'd be easy to bankrupt Jeffrey Archer.
Listen to this. The latest Ocelot 3.8 turbo supercat built at their new £200 million factory in Bramall is a world beater. My test model sleekly muscled its way from 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds. Gosh, I wish I had one.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no. It's not me. It's Annika Rice, writing in this issue of Yappy Car. I wish I was a Yappy. What does Yappy actually mean, Alan?
Yuppie, Piers, is short for useless pill. So you are one already, aren't you? Congratulations.
Don't be so spiteful, Alan.
Wait a minute. Where did you say that Ocelot had built their new factory?
Not telling you. Ow! No, please!
There it is. Bramall. Bramall? But that's in Cribben's constituency. Piers, you're a genius. Come on, we're going to break into the Prime Minister's office. Right.
No. I draw the line there, Alan.
Yeah.
I know you talk me into all sorts of things
Too
because
far.
I'm frightened of you, but I'm more frightened of her.
Piers, if you help me, I'll get you one of those new Ocelot supercats.
Really? Do you promise?
No. But I promise that if you don't help me, I won't get you one.
Are we going to actually meet the Prime Minister in this? So I wonder who's going to be playing her.
Piers! Stop tiptoeing along like Wee Willie Winky. It's all right, we're not trespassing. Yet. Look, it's perfectly safe. She's in Washington for the state unveiling of Reagan's new nose.
She's in Washington for the state unveiling of Reagan's new nose.
What if we bump into someone else?
This time of night, we're not going to bump into anybody.
Where do you gentlemen think you're going?
We're not going anywhere near the Prime Minister's office, if that's what you're thinking.
We're just taking an evening stroll, drink.
Hold on, isn't he allowed to do this? He's an elected MP. He's allowed in Downing Street, right? I mean, I know, right, so the Prime Minister has his or her most senior staff, so, you know, the Treasury, the Secretary, Education Secretary, Secretary of Defence, Health Secretary, all that. The people who sit at the table during their meetings. But aren't MPs allowed to go to Downing Street as well? Mind you, he's not that senior, is he? He's been elected as a Conservative MP, but he's not.
Drinking in the historic ambiance.
Yes, well, I shall have to ask you to identify yourself, sir. Several ministerial offices on this floor. Can't be too careful.
I completely understand.
You're Alan Bastard.
Bastard.
You're the member who got that bill through arming us police, aren't you?
Indeed, I'm proud to say that it was I. And it wasn't an easy job. But I felt you chaps
guns
needed
were
the tools to
£10
finish your
each.
work.
Yes, well, I'm a big fan of yours, sir. If I shook you by the hand, would it be a terrible liberty?
Yes, it would, but perhaps this once. And this is Mr. Fletcher Dervish, who helped draft the bill. Possibly the finest legal brain in this corridor at the moment.
Real honour, sir.
Oh, is it?
Tell me, officer, do you find the gun makes a great deal of difference to your work?
No, revelation, sir, revelation. I mean, take last Saturday. A mate of mine on the Met was policing the Chelsea match. Some hooligan threw a bottle on the pitch, so he draws his piece and blows him all across the half-time scoreboard. Splat! Yeah, wasn't no trouble after that, sir. Oh, yes, you've done us bobbies a right favour. I mean, in this day and age, who needs a truncheon?
Right.
Though, the wife likes it, mine, when I'm on nights. Sight for her to grab hold of. If she thinks she is an intruder.
Oh. Tell me, officer, since we're such kindred spirits, I wonder if you could do me a little favour.
If I can, sir.
Well, it's not really for me, it's for Mr. Fletcher Dervish. You see, he's never been inside a ministerial office, and unlike me, he's never likely to get the chance to do so. So, if you could just let him peek inside one, you know, need me anything grand, agriculture, fish and food, or, God, Northern Ireland even.
Well, I don't know, sir. I shouldn't leave my post.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for you, hmm?
All right, Mr. Bastard, as it's you. Right, now, this particular part was structured in 1744. Around the corner here, we have a broom cupboard that was originally Lord Palmerston's closet.
What's he planning to do? Prime Minister's office. Okay, I seriously doubt that Margaret Thatcher had a photocopier in her office. Who's that? I don't know. Oh, Jeffrey Archer. Someone please explain those two gags. Not just who it was in the picture, but why it's funny that the idea of Margaret Thatcher having a picture of that particular person in her desk drawer in her office. And why it's also funny the idea of her having a copy of a book called The Spy Catcher in her drawer as well. I've no idea.
Times the minister denies it.
And he will.
I have it here in black and blue. And on the Prime Minister's very own note paper, I quote, Mr. Speaker, "My government fully supports the proposal of the Board of Ocelot Motors to de-unionise their factories and reduce wages by 30% to ensure price competitiveness into the next decade."
I don't know where the honourable member for Bramhall obtained this ridiculous piece of misinformation.
And I'm not telling you, pal.
But it is clearly a forgery.
Mr. Speaker, the government quite clearly wants us to believe that it is a forgery. But I'm sure I speak for all members on this side of the House when I demand a full public inquiry.
No, not the public inquiry. No, you've got 10 years. This isn't going badly enough, Piers.
Do I have a choice of colour?
What?
My new Ocelot Supercat.
Oh, shut up. Shout outrageous, Piers.
Outrageous, Piers!
But some public-spirited employee at Ocelot has had the decency to leak this letter to me, and I will not betray his trust.
Order. Order.
Remember the days when MPs were that loyal to their supporters?
Betray his trust.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker. Order.
Mr. Bastard. I will briefly yield to the honourable member for Halton Price, Mr. Speaker, because it's always interesting to hear the crypto-fascist ravings of the loony right. Although I doubt that even he can worm his way out of this scandalous conspiracy.
Order. Au contraire, Mr. Speaker. Which I translate as that's what you think for the benefit of the member for Bramall who probably never went to school. And I'm sure that I speak for all members of this side of the House when I say that we are sick and tired of this sort of lefty trot whinging. I mean, it's with the greatest respect. It is not as if the average car worker has the taste or intelligence to spend his outrageously high weekly pay packet on anything more worthwhile than pigeons and whippets and brown ale and oven-ready chips.
Mr. Speaker.
Pigeons, brown ale, oven-ready chips.
And pigeons and whippets and brown ale and oven-ready chips.
Mr. Speaker, that is outrageous. I myself am a member of the National Union of Car Workers, and I have the privilege to represent that body in this august chamber. But because of him, I shall demand that the Executive Committee recommend a secret ballot for industrial action to be taken unless the scumbag opposite does not withdraw that application.
Industrial action. Mr. Crippin's answer to everything. Here we are, dealing with a man whose family history shows that he's related to a very dubious member of the medical profession.
That's it. I shall demand a strike of all car workers in Britain as from Monday, unless bastard withdraws that vicious slander.
Keep your hair on, Crippin.
Oh, if only the House of Commons sessions were as entertaining as this these days. They used to be, back in the day, they were a lot more entertaining. I've heard that from people that used to watch them. But now it's a bit more ordered now, isn't it? And respectful, because you can't make jokes now because, well, it's a house full of politicians and they're all bought into the woke bollocks, aren't they? So you can't make any jokes. I mean, I watched it the other week when Kemi Badenoch made her had her first debate as the leader of the Conservative Party. And when they were introducing her, the only credentials they introduced her with was that she's a woman and that she's the first black leader of the Conservative Party. Those are the only two credentials they had to mention of her. And everybody was cheering and then when they're delivering the budget, what happened to this person is in this position because they're the best person for the fucking job? I mean, Rayner's budget was a fucking disaster. It was one of their main policies in the manifesto. We're not going to raise taxes. And then during the budget, we're putting them up by 50 billion. But you said, yeah, anyway. Why I lied and the sun. Oh, well, yeah, right. They're taking the piss out of the sun. Right, yeah.
See the Financial Times?
Of course.
The stock exchange has suspended dealing in Ocelot shares, so I suppose Sarah won't be divorcing you now.
So what?
Well, you did say you'd get me an Ocelot supercat if I helped you.
Piers.
Well, you actually believed me.
Never believe a politician. I said it.
Well, I did at the time. I suppose I'm really rather stupid.
You're a fool.
Yes, you are, Piers. Very stupid. Very loyal.
What? Has he actually got him one?
There she is.
It's super. Thank you, Alan.
My pleasure. Oh, no touching, please.
Touching,
I'm sorry I couldn't get you a black one, Piers, but they don't seem to be making very many at the moment. Well, go on, get in.
Wait a minute, so the way things are going, he could have just got his aide a car from a company that's not going to exist for much longer. So if anything goes wrong with it, he's buggered, isn't he?
Try to have the size.
Unless, when Saab went under, a company set up down south that bought as many parts as they could as bankrupt stock so that they could look after as many Saab drivers for as long as they could.
The door won't open, Alan. Wonderful.
Gull wing doors. I love gull wing doors. So cool.
You really didn't need to,
Well, of course I did, Piers. You've been my loyal and devoted servant. It's the very least I could do.
I just don't know how to thank you.
Well, don't thank me. Thank Hertz. I gave him your credit card number. It's £150 a day, or £975 for the whole week.
You bastard, Alan!
Bastard.
He rented it! It's a rental! And he paid for it! Oh, that's me. He's evil. He's evil. Oh. He is evil. Properly evil. That is so nice. Yeah, there's nothing at the end of this, is there? Wow, right, come on. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Judging by the look of the car, in this world, it was supposed to be some sort of fancy sports car with its gull-wing doors, and I'm sure it was all sporty and full of technology, so it'd have been expensive. But don't thank me, thank Hertz. It's so-and-so per day, 900 for the week. I gave them your credit card. You bastard, Alan. It's bastard. Oh dear. So yeah, this was an interesting episode. His wife got an inheritance of £1 million, and that gave her that was enough for her to be like, right, I'm going to divorce him. And he tried to get around that. Her father controlled the Conservative Party that he was the leader of, or that seat. He had something to do with that. So if she'd have divorced him, he'd have kicked him out because he controlled the fund. He funded it. He was funding it, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Her father controls his position. That's what I wrote. So he tries to get around that by sabotaging the car company by planting a letter written by an employee sent to a Labour MP saying that they're having their wages cut by 30%. That causes their shares to plummet and their profits to fall dramatically. So her father can no longer afford to pay her the £1 million or something. Yeah. Well, he got round it. He's retained his position. He's still the MP. But I'm interested to see if we ever see the Prime Minister. one thing I forgot, you know. When's this from again? 1989, isn't it? Right, 1987. Yeah, okay. And it ran until when? 1994. Okay. 4 series, 26 episodes, 3 specials. Right, so if there's only 4 series, how did it run for 8 years? So this series aired in 1987. Oh, and then series 2 didn't air until 1989. Okay. Fuck off, I'm not paying towards your Wikipedia, you're a bag of shit. And then series 3 didn't come along until 1991. Wow. 1992, series 4. That's interesting. And then the specials, 1994. Interesting how that went. Mind you, he was busy. You know, as you get into 1990, he's filming Drop Dead Fred, his first big American Hollywood movie. He's writing Bottom. And then Bottom comes out, takes off. And then there's the first live show in 1993, which was a tour around the UK of a highly energetic show for the best part of 4 months. Yeah, he was a busy man, Rick. He was very busy at this point. So that makes sense. Right, I'm going to come out of this so I don't read anything that I don't want to read. I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, so that was good. I'm enjoying this so far. It's very funny. I love Rick's character. He's playing such an evil bastard of a politician type character, and he does it very well. And I look forward to future episodes. What's this? The Telegraph. A weekly column penned by Alan Bastard himself. As the founder of New Labour and effective ruler of the country, writes as. Wow. One column mentioned how after Alan's divorce from his wife, a subplot of the original stage show, the ex Mrs. Bastard came over all dead. So this was a stage show. How did that work? British sitcom made in the year. Made by Yorkshire Television. So when did the stage show come first then? It must have done. Because he said that we've just seen, the divorce, that's a subplot from the stage show. This won a BAFTA as well in 1991 for Best Comedy Series. Fair enough. Well, they're characters, aren't they? I want to say something about stage show. No. Oh well, so somebody who comments on this, tell me about how that worked. How the stage show worked. How long it ran for. Who was in it? Was it Rick playing Alan in that as well? I'm guessing it was. When that started, how long it ran for, when it ended, so I can get an idea of the gap between the end of the stage show and the start of the TV series, etc. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to call that a day. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Patreon, then thanks for the support. Hope you've had a great weekend, and you'll see me next week, which is not that far off. It's less than 3 hours until next week, so don't worry. You'll see me soon, okay? Take care, and good night.